So, I was on the streets, and then Papa Combs decided that he would like to be a caring man.
Nobody thought this would resurface again, but it's blowing up all over the internet. People are scrubbing through every clip, zooming in on blurry screenshots, and stalking old posts trying to figure out what really went down with this mysterious girl. Most folks didn't even know she existed until Diddy casually dropped her name during an Instagram Live back in 2020. Her name, Ava Bonnie, young white girl. Diddy claimed he took her off the streets, his exact words, and then, boom. She vanished. No birthday shout-outs, no photos, no holiday selfies, nothing. Just radio silence. If this was some random influencer's foster situation, maybe folks would have let it slide. But this is Diddy we're talking about. And right now, Diddy's name is tangled up in some dark stuff. Federal raids, lawsuits, and all kinds of twisted accusations. So when Jaguar Wright came out saying, "I know what really happened with Ava," people didn't brush her off. They leaned in close. 'Cause Jaguar, she don't talk unless she's packing heat, and she ain't sugarcoating a thing. She said, "These bitches doing stuff I wouldn't even touch." I know a punisher when I see one. That's not gossip. That's a warning. And with how hot this case is getting, it's feeling like we're about to see some serious fire explode out into the open. Even from the jump, folks were giving this whole situation the side eye. It never felt right. In that old video, Diddy was sitting next to Ava like it was some feel-good story. He says she's from the streets and turns to her like, "Tell him what happened." And this poor girl, she stares at the camera all stiff, clearly rehearsed, and says something like, "He saw me, picked me up, and told me I could come in and play." Play? That ain't sweet. That's straight up uncomfortable. It didn't sound heartwarming. It sounded coached. It was awkward, office weird. And now, folks are starting to question everything all over again. Then the internet did what it does best. They went full detective mode. Old photos popped up showing Ava chilling with Diddy's biological kids, the Combs twins, years before the so-called adoption. So now people are like, hold up. How was she from the streets if she was already kicking it with your family like that? That's when things started smelling real suspicious. Folks stopped believing this was some feel-good rescue story. They started saying it straight. This wasn't kindness. Something else was going on. And it didn't help that not long after Diddy made that adoption public, Ava basically disappeared from the spotlight. Poof. No more photos, no red carpets, no birthday shout-outs, no beach pics. Nothing. Fans were asking, "Where's Ava?" But the silence was loud. It was like she'd been quietly deleted, like someone erased her from the picture on purpose. Then suddenly, bam, a short, casual clip resurfaces. The Combs twins were filming, and guess who popped up? Avenue. She looked older, still hanging around, but something felt way off. She barely said a word, avoided the camera, and her whole vibe, uncomfortable as hell. Head down, quiet, body stiff, like she didn't want to be seen. That tiny moment was all it took. People started thinking Ava didn't just fall off the grid. Maybe she was being kept out of sight on purpose. Then it got even weirder. A TikTok page popped up under her name right after things started trending again. The captions? Creepy. One post read, "Life gets hard when you're forced into experiences you didn't ask for." That sent the internet into a frenzy. The content didn't even matter. What had everyone shook were the backgrounds, reflections of what looked like an older man. Hotel-style furniture, strange lighting, all bad vibes. Now people weren't just worried, they were paranoid. Some started speculating Ava wasn't just missing. She might have been watched, or worse, controlled. Now throw all of that next to Diddy's long, messy history of wild, off-the-radar parties in places like Bangkok and Morocco. Places where the laws get blurry and the rumors get dark. Suddenly, things start connecting in a way nobody wants to believe. But everybody can feel. Jaguar Wright didn't hold back either. She threw fuel straight into the fire with one heavy line. "He's the acceptable monster, just like R. Kelly was the last time I sat on this couch." That ain't light talk. She's claiming those parties weren't just Hollywood after parties. They were playgrounds for things nobody dares to speak out loud. But here's where things get real disturbing. Some folks believe Ava Bunny might actually be Ava Grace Baldwin, a little girl who went missing back in 2015 at just 6 years old. That theory exploded after a side-by-side photo started making the rounds online. The resemblance? Uncanny. Same face, same eyes, same everything. And now, the internet wants answers. Fast. Did Diddy really adopt Ava? Was it legal? Where did she come from? And why does the whole thing feel less like a rescue and more like a straight-up cover-up? No one's given solid answers, but the silence is starting to scream. And if even a piece of what Jaguar's saying turns out to be true, this isn't just another celeb rumor. It's something way darker than people imagine. What's really got everyone on edge isn't just that Ava disappeared. It's all the weird contradictions and red flags stacked up behind it. Diddy didn't adopt her in secret. He went public with it. He turned it into a whole production. That live stream where he showed off Ava, that wasn't a quiet moment with family. It felt scripted, staged, like a show. And now, with all these layers unraveling, people are starting to wonder, what was really going on behind that camera? The whole thing felt like a performance. Diddy didn't just introduce Ava, he prompted her like it was a scene in a movie. He told her to call him Papa, guided her through this weird, stiff introduction. It was awkward, not tender, not sweet, calculated. Like he was building an image, branding her. Then came the moment that gave everybody chills. Ava sat there and said, "I'm Ava. I'm a Scorpio." What? That's the kind of line you hear on a dating profile, not from a nervous young girl sitting beside a grown man twice her size, and even that intro. She tripped over it. First she said, "I'm Ava," then switched it up. Ava Comb B. Then again, Ava Rocom Beast. It was like she didn't even know who she was supposed to be. Like someone was still feeding her a script. That wasn't just uncomfortable. That felt coached. Like she'd been told what to say, over and over, until the lines blurred. Sure, some people tried to brush it off, saying maybe she was just shy or nervous. But others, they weren't buying it. They saw something deeper, like trauma hiding behind those pauses and stumbles. And it wasn't just that one video. In every family clip that surfaced, Ava always looked off, quiet, distant. Like she was there but not really part of the moment. In one specific video from a family bake-off, it hit people hard. Diddy's biological kids were laughing, running around, acting like kids. But Ava, she stayed on the edge, barely spoke, no eye contact. And every time someone got too close, she flinched. That's when people stopped excusing things, and Jaguar Wright's voice started rising. She's always been the one to stir the pot, sure. But this time, she wasn't just calling out music industry drama. This felt different, like she was trying to warn people. And now, that warning's starting to echo louder than ever. Jaguar Wright went all in. She started talking about trafficking rings, shady adoptions, and kids being shuffled around with no paper trail. And she didn't say Diddy was acting alone. Nope. She hinted at a whole network of powerful people, using their money and status to scoop up children under the mask of philanthropy. But what really shook people? The Madonna comparison. And it wasn't random. Jaguar claimed Diddy modeled Ava's adoption after how Madonna brought kids in from struggling countries. The twist? Madonna may have gotten dragged in the press, but she had paperwork. She had legal docs, guardianship filings, the whole trail. But with Diddy, nothing. No court records, no interviews, no public filings, not even a mention of Ava outside that one live stream. It's like Ava never officially existed in Diddy's household, just vibes. And that's what really started raising eyebrows. Then it got deeper. People close to Diddy, like his sons, Christian and Justin, suddenly got pulled into the mix. According to Jaguar and other sources, these two weren't just background characters. Christian, in particular, got name-dropped in connection to a serious situation. A case tied to an incident on a yacht Diddy had chartered. The lawsuit, filed in Los Angeles, didn't just have Diddy's name on it. It described an entire family operation wrapped up in disturbing activity. And if Christian was anywhere near the cover-up, that raises major red flags about who Ava might have been left alone with, and what she might have been exposed to. Then there's Lil Rod, one of the loudest voices coming for Diddy in this whole legal storm, and he didn't hold back at all. His accusations painted a grim picture, with Diddy at the center and multiple people, including close family, possibly helping to keep the truth buried. And now people are starting to ask the hard questions: who really protected Ava and who didn't? Lil Rod didn't sugarcoat a thing. He straight up said Diddy's so-called humanitarian image was just smoke and mirrors. According to him, what happened with Ava wasn't some act of kindness. It was a business deal. Her presence in the family, all about optics, power, image control, not protection. And when things started heating up, Diddy did what he always does. He vanished her, pulled her from the spotlight like she was never there to begin with. But the internet doesn't forget. Social media kept the receipts. Every re-uploaded video, every slow-motion clip, every eagle-eyed comment pointing out her body language or weird shadows in the background. It all kept this mystery alive. And Ava's silence, it's only made the whispers turn into roars. Now the world's watching, waiting on Jaguar Wright to finally drop what she's been teasing for months. 'Cause if she's sitting on real proof, this won't stay a rumor. This will turn into an explosion. One specific clip still messes with people's heads. It's that moment where Ava is asked to explain how she met Diddy. She smiles, but it's nervous, off. And with this weird, calm tone, she says, "He found me on the streets and brought me in to play with the people." On the surface, it sounds sweet, but the more you listen, the more it sounds chilling. Like, hold up. Where were her real parents? Why was a young girl just out on the street? And how does a billionaire just scoop up a kid like that? No questions, no paperwork, no follow-up, and then never speak on it again? What really blew people's minds was Ava's own words. In that same clip, she said she had beautiful parents. So now everyone's asking, if she had a family, why was she out there alone? And how did Diddy even get her into his home without anyone stopping it? The more people dig, the messier it gets. And now, the silence isn't just strange, it's terrifying. Why was Ava even with Diddy in the first place? Why didn't her real parents ever come forward? Did they give her up on purpose? Or were they never in the picture to begin with? That's when the theories really started spinning. Some folks began to believe her parents didn't give her up at all. Maybe she was taken. Maybe there was money involved. And a few people even said it straight. What if Ava was trafficked? That's when the internet turned its focus to a chilling possibility. The resemblance between Ava Barone and Ava Grace Baldwin, a little girl who went missing back in 2015, was just too close to ignore. Reddit and TikTok lit up with side-by-side photos. Same soft curls, same dimples, same eyes. People weren't just guessing. They were convinced they were looking at the same child. And then, out of nowhere, a TikTok account popped up claiming to be Ava Barone Combs. It was filled with short, blurry clips, strange filters, weird energy. But what really hit people was the captions. One video had a line that felt like a gut punch. Life gets hard when you're forced into experiences you didn't ask for. That didn't sound like some moody teenage post. It felt real, raw, like someone trying to speak without being too obvious, like a cry for help wrapped in code. But it didn't stop there. Viewers started spotting something creepy in the background. In several clips, you could see the faint reflection of an older man, a shadow here, an arm holding a phone there, sometimes in the mirror, sometimes just hovering off to the side. It didn't look like a parent casually watching. It looked like someone supervising, monitoring, controlling. That's when people really started freaking out. Was Ava actually the one behind this account? Or was someone else using her image, using her face to create content, send hidden messages, or worse, keep her in plain sight? And through all of this, Jaguar Wright never stopped talking. She kept pressing the issue, louder and louder, pushing the idea that this wasn't just about one girl. This might be part of something way bigger. Jaguar Wright didn't just call out Diddy, she called out the whole game. She said this wasn't just a Diddy problem. It was an industry problem, a system built to protect the powerful while using the vulnerable. And she didn't hold back. She pointed fingers not just at Diddy, but at the entire structure propping him up. She named names, label executives, party organizers, handlers, even other celebs. According to Jaguar, Ava wasn't the only child caught up in this mess. She was just the one who got noticed, just the one who slipped through the cracks, briefly. Jaguar said she had receipts, real ones, names, messages, paperwork. But the closer she got to dropping something major, the more she claimed people started coming after her. The threats, nonstop. One night, she even went live in tears saying, "If something happens to me, y'all know why." That moment hit people like a punch to the chest. Because if this was all just a wild conspiracy theory, why was someone trying so hard to shut her up? Why all the silence? Why all the fear? And while Jaguar kept pressing forward, things around Diddy started crumbling. The lawsuits, they're stacking up fast. His legal team's staying quiet, but the damage is already showing. Deals pulled, brands backing out, longtime friends walking away. The empire he built, it's showing cracks, big ones. He's no longer walking around untouchable. The shine's fading. And now, more and more people are starting to believe maybe these rumors aren't just rumors anymore. Maybe they're real. Maybe we've all been watching the surface of something much darker. And Ava's story is just the beginning. What's making this even wilder is how fast everything's unraveling, and not just for Diddy. Other big names are starting to get mentioned. Quiet whispers are turning into full-blown conversations about parties that went too far, NDAs that covered too much, and kids who never should have been there in the first place. People are pulling receipts, old interviews, deleted clips, random behind-the-scenes footage, trying to match faces, locations, timelines. What looked like harmless celeb parties now feel like clues in a much bigger puzzle. And suddenly, Diddy ain't looking like the host. He's looking like part of something organized, something engineered. Even insiders are starting to flip. People who used to be in his circle are now hitting podcasts, dropping hints, or going anonymous and feeding info to bloggers. The narrative's changing fast, from Diddy being a rich, wild party guy to Diddy being a gatekeeper for something darker, something nobody wanted to talk about until now. And through it all, that Ava TikTok account hasn't posted again. Not a word, not a blink. It's frozen, like someone hit pause. But people are still flooding the comments, begging for a sign she's okay, asking if she's really the one behind the posts, or if someone's using her image to play a much more dangerous game. The most haunting part? That one line still sticks with people. Life gets hard when you're forced into experiences you didn't ask for. That wasn't a caption. That was a red flag. A scream tucked inside a sentence. Now the internet wants more than drama. They want answers. Where is Ava? Who is really protecting her? And what was she forced into? Because this ain't about just one lawsuit anymore. It's turning into a storm that's about to drag a whole lot of people into the light. And if even half of this is true, it means the story we thought we knew, that was just the tip of something terrifying. At this point, it's not just fans watching. The world is on alert. Journalists, watchdogs, even former insiders are circling like sharks. People are digging into old adoption records, tracing real estate ties, checking flight logs, trying to piece together where Ava really came from and where she might be now. Because one thing's clear, too much doesn't add up. How does a billionaire adopt a child with no official documents? No media trail, no school records, no court filings, just one live stream. And then radio silence. It's like she appeared out of nowhere and then disappeared all over again. Now folks are calling it what it feels like. A cover-up. A story built to look sweet on the outside, while something way more twisted was hiding underneath. And with every new lawsuit, every resurfaced video, and every cryptic caption, people are realizing this might not be an isolated case. Even Diddy's longtime supporters are getting quiet. Some are ghosting him completely. Others are deleting old collabs, scrubbing photos, distancing themselves fast. That's not normal celeb drama cleanup. That's panic. And the whispers about Ava being Ava Grace Baldwin, they're getting louder. Internet sleuths are even tracking family members of the real Baldwin case, reaching out, comparing timelines, asking the hard questions the media won't touch. And so far, no one's denied the connection, not publicly. Meanwhile, Jaguar Wright's name is everywhere. Love her or hate her, she's become the one person who keeps pressing forward. Every time someone tries to shut her down, she just gets louder. And now people are backing her, sharing her clips, reposting her rants, treating her like the last person standing between the truth and a total blackout. Because let's be real, something's not right. And this doesn't feel like it's dying down. It feels like it's about to explode. Ava's story started as a strange moment in a live stream, but now it's turned into a question that could bring down careers, expose industries, and shatter the image of people we thought we knew. And if anyone's still trying to hide something, they're running out of time. That truth took way too long to reach the surface. And now we're all stuck with a question that nobody, not Diddy, not the media, not even the people closest to him, has been able to answer. Where is Ava? Not the version we saw on TikTok. Not the smiling kid in the PR video. We're talking about the real Ava. The quiet girl who sat on that couch next to Diddy, looking nervous, unsure, and completely out of place. If she's safe, why hasn't she said it? Why hasn't she posted, waved, spoken anything? And if she's not, then who's gonna be brave enough to speak up for her? Because silence ain't safety. And pretending it's all fine, that's just helping the wrong people stay in control. If you're following this story, don't stop now. Like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can see what's really going on. Stay sharp, and see you on the next one.